Welcome to Live Interactive English. That is Mike.
This is Mike, yes, and over here it's Shane.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
So today...
Yes, we are going to be talking about peculiar potoos.
Oh.
That's right. That's not just potato misspelled. We are talking about an animal called a potoo.
Yeah, it does look like a potato.
Kind of.
But, well, it doesn't look like a potato. The word looks like potato.
Yes, this is not a potato bird.
But they are peculiar looking.
They are, and they're kind of brown.
Yeah.
So maybe they are kind of like potatoes with wings.
Well, they're not indigenous to Taiwan, so you won't see them flying around here.
That's a sad thing because they're interesting, but also maybe a good thing because apparently they're quite scary, these birds.
They are creepy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, do you have a favorite bird here in Taiwan, or a bird that maybe you never saw in your home country, but you've seen here and you're like, that's a pretty cool bird?
Well, actually, there is a bird that seems kind of cool these days. I've seen a lot of articles and TV shows about the shoebill.
The shoebill.
The shoebill. I think it's an African bird. It's quite large, and it looks very old. It's almost like an ancient bird / dinosaur.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a kind of interesting bird. I don't know much about it, but it seems to be getting a lot of attention. So if you get a chance to check out a shoebill, do that. They also seem a little scary because they're quite big.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, there's a really beautiful bird called the Taiwanese Formosan.
Formosan, okay,
that's the old way of saying Taiwanese.
Formosan.
The Formosan blue magpie.
Oh, okay, magpie.
Yeah, and it's actually they're quite naughty.
Yes, okay. They're quite they're known for being quite smart too.
They're very intelligent and they're very protective of their young. So if they're near their nest, they will actually come and they'll conk you in the head.
I've seen in Australia they do that. They kind of chase people down the street when they have their eggs ready.
They used to have that right outside the window where I used to live on the second story, and I would see people running through the park.
Did they ever attack you?
They never attacked me.
They liked you.
They liked me.
That's nice.
Okay, well, why don't we find out a little bit about these peculiar birds called the potoo.
Potoo, not potatoes.
Not potatoes.
It hides in trees, has a haunting singing voice, and looks like something a 6-year-old would draw after a particularly scary dream. If there's one bird you don't want to run into when walking at night, it's the potoo. Potoo is actually the name given to a family of birds that includes 7 different species. While potoos range in size from the 21-centimeter long rufous potoo to the 60-centimeter long great potoo, they all share a similar unusual appearance.
All right, so yes, we are talking about a bird or a sort of a species, a family of birds called potoos. And in the title, I don't know if this is very nice. They call them peculiar. Peculiar potoos.
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative.
That's true, but it is one of those words you might be, careful with when you're using it to talk about a person, because in general, peculiar just means strange, unusual, odd, or even weird. Yeah, weird is another word you probably wouldn't want to use on a person, maybe your best friend or brother or sister, but certainly not your teacher, boss, or mom and dad. But peculiar just means out of the ordinary, not usual, uncommon, the kind of thing you don't see every day, like Maggie. Maggie's peculiar behavior worried her friends. Yeah, she was acting very strange, not like she normally does.
Well, you never know. Maggie, she has a lot of issues.
Does she?
She does,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised.
Oh, she is quite peculiar.
I think she's a pretty peculiar.
All right. Well, apparently the potoo is peculiar too. Maybe Maggie has a house full of potoos.
Let's find out just how peculiar the potoo is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it hides in trees.
Okay, so does Maggie.
Sometimes. Has a haunting singing voice. Ooh. and looks like something a 6-year-old would draw after a particularly scary dream.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
That sounds scary.
It sounds frightening now.
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
peculiar, frightening, scary.
Okay, so if there's one bird you don't want to run into when walking at night.
When walking at night?
Yeah, it's the potoo.
Is it going to steal my money and knock me out in the park?
It might try to rob you.
Oh my gosh.
It is no, I think it just looks scary.
Oh, okay. Sounds scary, maybe?
Sounds creepy, scary, spooky.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a vocabulary word here, particularly. Say that, particularly.
Particularly.
Yeah, that's a particularly difficult word to
particularly
pronounce.
difficult word to say.
So it's an adverb. It just means especially, or more than usual, or it could be more than others. So, for example, you could say the weather is particularly hot today. So it's hotter than usual, or more hot than it would normally be. It's particularly
Okay,
hot.
just a little bit more than normal. Very interesting. So a particularly unusual animal with a particularly unusual song or way of singing. Let's find out what we're talking about here. Potoo is actually the name given to a family of birds that includes 7 different species. But of course, they will be different in this family of potoos, and some of that can be seen in how big they are. It says, well, potoos range in size from the 21 centimeter long, about that big, rufous potoo, to the 60 centimeter long, or 2 foot long, great potoo. They all share a similar, unusual appearance. So they might be slightly different colors, slightly different sizes, but of course, the way they look, their eyes, their mouth, their feathers and body, it's all quite similar. It's all very much the same.
Yes, they do range in size.
There's a range, though, yeah.
And when you say range, what you mean is to vary between 2 particular sizes. Like in this case, it could be amounts, something like that, including others between them.
Okay.
So for example, you could say the students range in age from 12 to 18.
Okay, so those are sort of the low and high numbers,
Right.
and you'll
What's
find a
between?
lot of others in between there.
That's right.
Makes sense.
How
All right.
about we take a break?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to ruffle my feathers and we'll be back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这2天的课程是要介绍一种奇特的鸟，叫做 potoo 林鴟。这种鸟会躲在树上，然后有着令人难忘的歌声，而它的外观看起来就像是6岁小孩做了特别恐怖的梦之后会画出来的东西。那么林鴟其实是一个鸟科的名字，包含了7个不同物种，体型尺寸从21公分到60公分不等，但它们都拥有相似的独特外表。我们先来看单字 peculiar。Peculiar 它是形容独特的、特有的或是古怪的、不寻常的。Shane 老师这时候用到 weird 这个字 W-E-I-R-D， 它可以形容奇怪的、怪异的。老师还用到 spooky S-P-O-O-K-Y， 那这是形容阴森可怕的、令人毛骨悚然的。还有用到 creepy C-R-E-E-P-Y， 它也可以形容令人毛骨悚然的。好，下一个单字 particularly， 它表示特别、尤其，这是一个副词。那么 range 当动词，它可以表达数量、种类变化的范围，或是在一定范围内变动、变化。那这边有2个重点，我们进入文法时间。我们来看第一个重点是 look 当连缀动词时是指看起来怎么样怎么样。以下介绍几个常用句型。第一个是 look 加形容词，像 She looks sad. What's wrong? 她看起来很难过，怎么啦？那第二个句型是 look like 加名词，例如 The cloud looks like a horse. 那朵云看起来像一匹马。 第三个句型是 look like 主词加动词，例如 The man looks like he's about to throw up。那名男子看起来快要吐了。那第四个句型是用 look 加上 as if 或者是 as though 再加主词加动词，例如 They look as if they haven't eaten for days。他们看起来好像好几天没吃东西了。那第二个重点是名词加上分词 VING 或 PP， 也就是分词片语修饰名词的用法。当我们看到主格关系代名词 who, which 或是 that 引导的形容词子句，可以省略掉关系代名词，然后把动词改分词来修饰先行词。形容词子句表示主动或进行的话，我们就改成现在分词 VING。如果是被动的话，就是用过去分词 PP。举例来说 The man who is sitting in the sports car is an actor。 坐在跑车上的那名男子是一位演员。那其中的 who is sitting in the sports car 这是形容词子句。Who is sitting 可以简化成 sitting， 所以句子就变成 The man sitting in the sports car is an actor。 那我们这时候就看到名词 the man 后面是接现在分词 sitting 来修饰。好，接回到课文中。
Their most impressive features are their big heads and huge eyes. In low light, their black pupils grow to fill almost their entire eyes. This, along with their wide mouths, makes them look rather frightening. These odd birds are found in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. Generally, the birds favor rainforests and grasslands. There, they spend their days sitting perfectly still while being camouflaged to look like dead branches by their gray and brown feathers.
Welcome back, everybody. So before the break, we were talking about pottoos. They are kind of peculiar.
Slightly strange, odd, unusual.
They're a bit scary looking.
Yeah, they have a crazy sort of cry at night. It could frighten you when you're walking around.
That's
Sounds
right.
like ghosts or something.
Yeah, a little bit scary.
Right.
There are 7 species of them.
Yep.
And they can range in size from around 21 centimeters.
Small, scary size.
Small, scary to really
to the
scary,
big 60 centimeters super scary size.
Yeah, grande.
That's the one
scary.
you get for Halloween.
They said that's the great potoo.
That's the great potoo.
And great here just meaning like big.
Big, large, impressive, and extra scary. Let's talk about how scary they are. Some of that comes from how they look.
Okay.
As you guys can probably see in your magazine, they do look kind of unusual. It says their most impressive features are their big heads and huge eyes. Now, when they first saw them, they kind of looked like an owl or maybe a falcon or a bird, a hawk.
Yeah.
Drawn by a person who can't draw very well.
Right.
Like if you asked me to draw an owl, it would probably look like a potoo because I'm a bad artist.
Or if you were really sick and you were out of your mind with a fever and you said, hey, draw an owl.
Right.
It might look like that.
Exactly right. And that they do, compared to most birds, have big heads and especially huge, meaning really big eyes. It says in low light, their black pupils, that's the black center part of your eye, in low light, their black pupils grow to fill almost their entire eyes.
That is creepy.
That is kind of scary, an entirely black eye. No white, no color, just black. That is a little strange and scary.
I would definitely be scared.
And these big black eyes, along with their wide mouths, their mouths are very wide.
Like the Joker.
Like the Joker, kind of stretched from ear to ear, makes them look rather frightening. Yeah, and rather unusual or peculiar, as we said in our title.
Right, and so frightening just means making you feel afraid. You could say something's frightening or it's scary. Anyway, you could say it's creepy. So, for example, that movie was so frightening I don't want to watch it again.
It scared you, it made you nervous, it made you want to run out of the room screaming in terror, or crying, or just covering your eyes and going, make it stop.
Or both, covering my eyes and crying.
And don't run out of the room while covering your eyes.
Oh, because you might trip and fall.
You might run into the wall.
Danger.
That's scary.
Okay, so continuing along, these odd birds are found in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean.
Oh, are they also found in the Caribbean?
They are also found in the Caribbean, yes.
Okay, you can say both ways.
Yeah.
But that's not near us.
It's
kind of the other side of the Pacific Ocean.
That's right.
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's a kind of usually a pretty wet climate.
True. They might actually do well here, but of course we shouldn't bring them here. We should leave them there.
Leave them where they belong.
And I think walking through a park at night in Taiwan would suddenly get much scarier if we had Potoos around. So it's probably good they're over there.
Absolutely. Generally, the birds favor rainforests and grasslands, which are wet areas. So
Often.
like you said, they could probably do well here. There, they spend their days sitting perfectly still while being camouflaged to look like dead branches by their gray and brown feathers. So they are camouflaged, just meaning that you cannot really distinguish them from the background.
Exactly
right. So they
right.
kind of blend in.
They blend in, that's right. We know a lot of birds especially do have colors in their feathers, on their skin or their feathers, that do help them hide in grass or trees, make them harder for hunting animals to see. And yes, when we talk about the feathers, we're talking about the bird's hair, basically. That's what feathers are. They cover the bird's body. There will be generally two types of feathers. Underneath the outer layer, you'll have the soft down. That's the very soft feather.
Sometimes you make pillows.
Makes pillows, and it keeps the bird nice and warm. Exactly. Be very warm to keep the bird warm in cold weather. And then, of course, we have the flight feathers. Those are the ones we think of. They're rather long. They kind of look like a long leaf. You have a stiff stalk in the middle, and then parts that grow off, and those cover the bird's body, and also, of course, allow the bird to fly and control its movements in the air. But when we basically look at a bird and the different colors and designs on them, we are admiring the beauty of their feathers, the outer hairs, as it were, of a bird. For example, the bird in my garden has beautiful blue feathers. It could be a kingfisher or something like that.
Or it could definitely be a Formosan,
blue
magpie.
That's right.
Okay, well, that is all the time we have for today.
Oh, no.
But guess what?
What?
We have another day.
You're kidding.
Dedicated to the Potoo.
Potoos are coming back.
They're coming back.
I feel
they're making a comeback.
Happy about that.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
林鴟这种鸟最令人印象深刻的特征是大头还有巨眼，在暗淡的光线下，它们的黑色瞳孔会放大到几乎填满整个眼睛，再加上那个宽宽大大的嘴巴，看起来就很吓人。那这些奇特的鸟是分布在中美洲、南美洲还有加勒比海地区。那一般来说，它们偏好热带雨林和草原，在那边它们可以利用灰色和棕色的羽毛，把自己伪装成看起来像枯掉的树枝一样。好，单字 frightening 它是形容令人惊恐的、害人的。那么 feather 它表示羽毛。单字例句有提到鸟有漂亮的蓝色羽毛，老师们说也许是 kingfisher 就是翠鸟，或者是 Formosan blue magpie 是台湾蓝雀。好，那么以上这些讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
It hides in trees, has a haunting singing voice, and looks like something a 6-year-old would draw after a particularly scary dream. If there's one bird you don't want to run into when walking at night, it's the potoo. Potoo is actually the name given to a family of birds that includes 7 different species. While potoos range in size from the 21-centimeter long rufous potoo to the 60-centimeter long great potoo, they all share a similar unusual appearance. Their most impressive features are their big heads and huge eyes. In low light, their black pupils grow to fill almost their entire eyes. This, along with their wide mouths, makes them look rather frightening. These odd birds are found in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. Generally, the birds favor rainforests and grasslands. There, they spend their days sitting perfectly still while being camouflaged to look like dead branches by their gray and brown feathers.
Hey, did you hear? Jake says that he won the lottery and is now a millionaire.
Really? That's amazing.
I don't buy it. There's no way he can be that lucky.
You don't buy it? What don't you buy? Did he start trying to sell something?
No, I don't buy it means that I don't believe that it's true.
Oh, so you don't buy it. You don't buy that he actually won the lottery. So you think he's lying?
Exactly. It just sounds too good to be true. What do you think?
People do win the lottery.
Well, I don't know, but I really don't think so. Hello everyone! Today we are going to discuss the phrase, I don't buy it.
Right. I don't buy it doesn't usually refer to making a purchase. Instead, it is a way to express doubt or disbelief about something.
Exactly. Like when someone tells you an unbelievable story or when a company makes an outrageous claim about a product.
In those cases, you might respond with, I don't buy it, because you're skeptical about the truth of the statement.
Here are a few examples. He said he caught a fish that was bigger than him, but I don't buy it.
Or the politician promised to lower all taxes, but I don't buy it.
It's important to think critically and not take everything at face value.
Agreed. So next time you hear something that sounds too good to be true, feel free to say, I don't buy it.
That wraps up our lesson for today.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.